Out-of-state high school baseball action is on the way from Pringle Field at Riverdale High School in Fort Myers, Florida, as the 3-3 Heritage Mountaineers have made the trip all the way down from Maryville, Tennessee to do battle with the 8-1 Riverdale Raiders. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for tuning into the Riverdale Raiders broadcast network. This is Nick Rush giving you the call of the action, and it is now time to give you the starting lineup for these two teams. And we begin with the batting order of the Heritage Mountaineers. I gotta say, game hasn't started. We're already having some fun in the press box and in the crowd. Fans are here. They're having a great time. Couldn't help but get a chuckle out of that. Well, here's your batting order for the Mountaineers of Heritage High School. Batting first, center fielder number 4, Kyle Valentine. Batting second, shortstop number 3, Casey Hare. And the 3 spot, it's the right fielder number 11, Max Bowers. Cleaning up, catcher number 12, Prater French. Batting fifth, first baseman number 18, Anthony Hitch. And the number 6 spot, it's the designated hitter number 5, Jacob Goebel. Batting seventh, third baseman number 16, Cade Braden. Batting eighth, left fielder number 7, Chandler Clark. And batting last, second baseman number 1, J.P. Pearson. And up to the plate comes Kyle Valentine as he digs into the left hand of the batter's box. Starting pitcher up on the mound for the Raiders is number 10, Carson Palmquist, throwing his deals off of the left hand. Here's the opening deal on the way on the outside corner. Ball 1 with the first pitch coming in at 7:08 p.m. Next one on the way almost hits Valentine. He's able to dodge out of the way as the ball is deflected off of the backstop, and it looks like the home plate umpire actually got hit there, and he is shaken up. Certainly not the way that you want to start the game. It looks like it hit him in the stomach. And right on the second pitch of the ball game as well, so we can only hope that he is all right back there. Count now 2 balls and no strikes to Kyle Valentine. And very thankfully, the home plate umpire, he's back up on his feet. At first, he was doubled over there, and I can't blame him either. That was a high-speed fastball coming in there from Carson Palmquist. Keep in mind, this is a sophomore that is committed to the University of Miami down in South Florida, so he certainly knows how to deal at a fast rate of speed. But all the umpires at home plate and first base, they are back in their positions as we have a 2-man umpiring crew here in tonight's action. So once again, the home plate umpire, he is okay, and back to action we go. Palmquist delivers the 2-0. And this gets in for a strike. That's your first one of the ball game that gets inside the zone. Just underway here at the top half of the first. No score, no outs between the Heritage Mountaineers of Maryville High School and the Riverdale Raiders. Hack and a miss ties up the count at 2 apiece. And the deuce. Ooh, just gets inside. Kyle Valentine goes down looking for your first out of the ball game. And next up comes Casey Hare.
Batting next for Heritage, shortstop number 3, Casey Hare.
With that being said, here is your starting defensive alignment for Riverdale. From left to right in the outfield, it's Matisse Bober, Tyler Gertman, and Matt Hardy. On the left side of the infield at third, it's Michael Connor. And on the shortstop, it's Daniel Kaler. Opening deal is a strike 1 coming to Casey Hare. Brendan McNabb tending second base, and Nelson Smith is assigned over the first. Carson Palmquist is throwing the balls and strikes to Tyler Prell, the catcher behind home plate. Here's your 0-1 on the way. Gets in on the inside corner. Nice curveball there. That starts off Casey Hare with a quick 0-2 count.
Nice pitch, buddy.
Hare is a lefty standing at the plate. Here's a pitch low and away. Just underway here at Riverdale High School. We have a little bit of extra sunlight here tonight, as just last Sunday we had daylight savings time as we get that extra hour of sunlight, if you will. And here's a swing and a miss down on Casey Hare. Back-to-back punch-outs for Carson Palmquist. Hare took a nice swing at that. Another nice intimidating curveball off the left hand of Palmquist. Just couldn't connect. 2 up, 2 down here to start things off at the top of the first for the Raiders. And here's a pitch that bounces off of the plate. Ball 1 to Max Bowers, the third man due up here at the top of inning number 1. Count now 1-1 with a fastball coming right down the middle. You know what they say, fall backwards, spring forward when it comes to daylight savings time. And just before the week began, we took the spring forward as the count advances to 2-1. So an extra hour of sunlight here. Typically, it's already dark by the time the first pitch is released. Count now tied up at 2 apiece here with a nice swing and a miss coming from Bowers. The lights are already on here at Pringle Field, as it will be getting dark by the next hour or so. Count full as this gets down in the dirt. So here's the Riverdale starting pitcher, Carson Palmquist, with a nice opportunity to go 3 up, 3 down here at the top half of the first. Still no score between Heritage and Riverdale. The payoff is fouled back here towards the press box and caught up by the safety netting. Heritage wearing some interesting uniforms. I would say it's a light blue, perhaps a baby blue, a North Carolina blue, but a very light blue color. White numbers on the back. White script Heritage across the chest, or Mountaineers, excuse me. Red script outline as well, as this is knocked down the right field line. That fly ball gets out of the playing field. Gray pants, red helmets, red stirrups. Here's another one batted away off to our right. So right now, Bowers is battling, trying to increase the pitch count of Palmquist here very early at the top half of the first. 2 down, no men on for Heritage. Here's another one on the way, and it just gets down below the strike zone as Max Bowers takes the free ride over the first base. Prater French now follows up as the cleanup man.
Next for Heritage catcher number 12, Prater French.
Well, that time around, you really have to admire Max Bowers and what he was doing. He was in that full count situation for what seems like forever, and he was fouling off deal after deal, and finally he gets one down low, and he's able to get that base on balls. Here's a strike 1 to start off Prater French at the plate. Thank you all for joining us here on the Riverdale Raiders Broadcast Network. Nick Rush giving you the play-by-play from Pringle Field at Riverdale High School. Here's another pitch home, and it's fouled just right in front of the Raider dugout, which is located down the first base side. Count now advances to no balls and 2 strikes. Heritage tending the benches down the left side of the field.
Going outside.
Off-speed pitch that gets to the backstop. And Prater French takes off the first. Throw to third is in time, which retires Max Bowers. He made his way over the second, tried to stretch his way to third, but the throw from Tyler Prell to the third baseman, Michael Connor, man, that throw beat Bowers by ages. So down goes the men here at the top half of the first. It's still 0-0. Bottom half of the inning coming up on the way right after this on the Riverdale Raiders Broadcast Network. We return with your home half of the first here on the Riverdale Raiders broadcast network. Home half of the first we go as the Raiders and Heritage Mountaineers are locked up in a scoreless tie. Here comes Daniel Kaler up to the plate. The shortstop wearing number 1 for the Raiders. Opening deal on the way as Chiss is chipped to the third baseman of Heritage, and Kaler gets on the first base. Cade Braden tried to jump all over that one off to the left side of the infield, and that's going to be an error over on third base. Following up is Tyler Gertman, the center fielder, number 14. Time for your starting batting order for Riverdale. After Gertman, it's Bober, the left fielder, wearing number 8.
Next batter for the Raiders, center fielder number 14, Tyler Gertman.
Opening deal here to Gertman, nailed down the left field line. Strike 1. Well, Matt Hardy is a right fielder wearing number 9 in the cleanup spot. 5th, it's Carson Palmquist, the pitcher, number 10. The catcher, number 7, Tyler Prell, is 6, as this is a pitch that is just wide. 1 ball and 1 strike to Tyler Gertman. Here's a foul ball that deflects off of the strike plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes now. Batting 7th, that's the first baseman, number 39, Nelson Smith. Second baseman, number 3, Brennan McNabb, is 8th, and in the 9th spot, it's the third baseman, number 4, Michael Connor. There is your batting order for Riverdale to start tonight's action. As we're at the home half of the first, this just gets on the outside corner. And now the count is locked up at 2-2. Starting pitcher on the mound for Heritage tonight is number 20, Jake Kerr. He's the righty. Swing and a miss. Throw over the second will not be in time, as Kaler gets a clean steal over the second, but Gertman swings and strikes out. 1 down here at the home half of the first.
Number 8, Matisse Bober.
So Bober arrives to the plate. And now here's your defensive alignment for Heritage. Bober takes a crazy swing and can't find anything that time around for strike 1. From left to right in the outfield, it's Chandler Clark, Kyle Valentine, and Max Bowers. Here's the delivery, and there's a strike 2. Cade Braden over on third. To his left on shortstop is Casey Hare. J.P. Pearson tending second. Anthony Hitch will be over at first. And Jake Kerr throwing the deals to Prater French, the catcher. Here's the 0-2, and this is tipped backwards. That's a dead ball, which keeps the count at no balls and 2 strikes. When it comes to your managers on the night, for Heritage, you have Robbie Bennett. And on the Riverdale side of things, you have Bob Pringle. Matisse Bober reassessing the situation with a timeout. He steps outside the right hand of the box. Kerr with the leg whip and fire. That's chipped out to right field, and that will not make its way into fair play. Count still 0-2 here to Matisse Bober. Daniel Kaler just tried to take off over to third base on that deal, but he'll have to make his way over to second as a result of the foul ball. 1 on, 1 out here at the home half of the first. Still scoreless between Heritage and Riverdale. Here's one way over the head of the Heritage catcher, French. 1-2 to Bober. He had to get out of his crouch that time around to keep the ball from heading to the backstop. Another one coming home, and this time it just barely stays above the ground. Here's a deuce coming up on the way. Bober just barely holding the bat above his head as the 2-2 is lined out to center field. Throw coming home to Kaler. Kaler's dancing around. He got way off to the sides while chugging down the left field line, and he is called out by default as the throw beat him by a long time there. Kyle Valentine out in center field with a cannon of an arm, and now there's 2 down at the bottom of inning number 1.
Batting next for the Raiders, right fielder number 9, Matt Hardy.
So Matt Hardy has some work to do. 2 outs, and now you have Bober over on second base. Able to stretch the single into a 2-bagger there due to the commotion over at home plate. A tag was not even needed there on Daniel Kaler. He was way out of the baseline, no doubt about it. This one connects with the dirt, ball 1 to Matt Hardy. The 4th man due up here at the home half of the first. He's a righty at the plate, takes an early swing here and can't get a connection. Still no score as we are heading towards your final moments perhaps of this first inning. Right now, Hardy's trying to draw first blood for Riverdale with a runner over in scoring territory over on bag number 2. 2 balls and 1 strike as this just gets down at the knees. Right now, fighting hard on the mound is Jake Kerr, as this is yet another pitch too far down. Matt Hardy trying to work through a situation here at the plate where he's trying to keep the home half of the first going with that runner Bober over on second. This is ball number 4 as it's another one that doesn't stay above the ground. So now 2 men on for Riverdale.
Now batting, pitcher number 10, Carson Palmquist.
So Carson Palmquist will now try to take a swing at things here. Stands in very tall and sturdy. Waving the bat over his head in small circles, he'll strike this back towards the broadcast position. Riverdale in this game, they're sporting their home white uniforms. Garnet red numbers on the back, garnet red script Raiders across the chest. White pants with a dark red stripe running down both sides. White batting helmets. This is up over the head of Palmquist for another one that avoids the strike zone. One delivery coming up here in just moments. Here's Kerr, whipping it off the right hand, bouncer to the right side of the infield. It's mishandled by the second baseman, J.P. Pearson. It's an error on his side of things over at second. Runner Matisse Bober gets to third but stays there as Riverdale now has the bags juiced.
Your next Raider batter, catcher number 7, Tyler Prell.
So Tyler Prell has the chance to do some magic here, coming off of the on-deck circle.
Can't tell who's got a courtesy runner first, but can't tell who it is.
That was the second error here at the home half of the first by Heritage. Daniel Kaler got over on first due to an error on the third baseman, Cade Braden. First pitch to Prell, ball 1. That came in off of his opposite side. Prell, batter number 6 here of this first inning. Still scoreless. Here's a ball that is chipped backwards behind home, and it's foul. So it appears that Connor Sikula is the courtesy runner over on first base here for Riverdale. We were trying to see who that was for a few moments, as he came on for Matt Hardy after he took a walk to first off of a base on balls. This is on the inside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike to Prell. 1 ball and 2 strikes, correction. Kerr with another one, and that was absolutely blasted out to left field. It runs out of real estate, and was that caught? Yes, it was. Unbelievable diving grab by Chandler Clark, which strands the bases juiced for Riverdale. It's 0-0, inning number 2. Here we come from Riverdale High School. Anthony Hitch is your leadoff man. Top of the second is where we are at in this ball game from Riverdale High School in Fort Myers, Florida, as a scoreless tie has brought us here to this point of the ball game between Riverdale and Heritage. Foul ball here for Prater French, the 4th man in the Heritage batting order.
5th man.
5th man,
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Hitch is up.
So Anthony Hitch is the man up, excuse me. Had a little bit of a mistake on my scorecard there, but once again it is Anthony Hitch, your leadoff man up here. And not Prater French, who was retired to end things at the top of inning number 1. Anthony Hitch, the first baseman, once again here in this game. 1-2 delivery is waved at, and nothing comes through. So Anthony Hitch gets a swinging K in the scorebooks. So it's the 5, 6, and 7 spots due up here for Heritage at the top of inning number 2. That's Hitch, who was just retired there moments ago. Jacob Goebel now at the dish, and Cade Braden will follow him up. Goebel, the right-handed swinger, takes a strike 2 right down the middle of the zone. So a quick 0-2 count to Goebel. And Palmquist is delivering quickly here. This is way off to the edges. Ball 1. Well, ladies and gentlemen, what a night it is. Very cool day here in Southwest Florida. We'll tell you about that after this whip and fire. It's battered towards the second baseman, Brennan McNabb. Throw to Nelson Smith over on first is in time. Now 2 down here at the top of the second. Still no score between Heritage and Riverdale.
Third baseman, number 16, Cade Braden.
So it's Cade Braden, the next man up for the Mountaineers. Here in Fort Myers, it's 69 degrees, wind blowing very softly. 4 miles per hour from left to right across your computer screen. This is up and in. Strike 1 to Braden. Humidity sitting low this evening at 17%, and there is no sign of precipitation for this varsity baseball game. Strike 2 comes in without a swinging response from Braden. This morning, before the sun came up at around 7 a.m., we were down in the mid-40s here in Southwest Florida, as this is battered down right field, foul ball. Up in Maryville, Tennessee, where the Mountaineers are from. It's 45 degrees right now, 5 mile per hour winds, humidity at 25%, no chance of rain through the evening. And later on through the night, the temperature in Maryville will dip down to as low as 34 degrees. Here's another swinging K, and Cade Braden is your next victim. 3 up, 3 down at the top of the second. Home half of the inning on the way. It's still 0-0. Nelson Smith arrives to the plate, as this is your home half of the second. 0-0 score between Riverdale and Heritage High School out of Maryville, Tennessee. Smith just chips the opening delivery to the backstop. Strike one. The 0-1 quickly follows through. It's a pop-up left side of the infield. Is it caught? Yes, it is. Having to slowly chase it down there was Cade Braden, but there is an F5 to put down Nelson Smith here at your bottom of the second.
Next batter for your Raiders, second baseman, number 3, Brendan McNabb.
That's Brendan McNabb, the next man up in the order. His first at bat of the ball game. This is a beauty of a bunt down the third base side, and there is an out. A 1-3 put out here, as that was a nice throw coming from Jake Kerr. He had to really track it down, and it took him a few moments, but my goodness, it just beat out McNabb by a matter of inches. That was quite the call there. Fans not agreeing with it, but certainly was a close one nonetheless. Some fans protesting that the first baseman there got pulled off the bag, Anthony Hitch. First base umpire says otherwise. Quick 2-ball and no strike count here for Michael Connor up next. You can now make it 3-0 with a pitch high and dry. Avoiding the 4-pitch walk there is Kerr, the starting pitcher in his second inning of work for Heritage. Strike one, high up there, just got it in, and this barely gets off the edge of the bat. Foul to make the count full. That one started high and then sunk its way down towards the strike plate. This gets down the left field line, and take a look at Michael Connor checking his way around first, throw to second, not even in time. That's crazy. And now here's Connor over to third. It was an error throw coming out from left field, and Connor originally started with a double. Advances to third, courtesy of that error coming out to left field.
Now batting for the Raiders.
And now Daniel Kaler has some work to do as we head back to the top of the order. Michael Connor had a nice bouncer down the left field line, stayed fair.
You can't throw a ball down there that way. You can't throw a ball that nice down there.
You couldn't have asked for a better bouncer that time around.
Right over the bag. Nobody was
Pitch just wide here. Daniel Kaler starts off 1-0. His second at bat of the game, he got on first with an error over on third back in the first. Count now 1-1 with an off-speed pitch sneaking inside. Kerr yet again with a crazy one high up there.
That was an eephus pitch.
That's ball two, and once again, French had to break the crouch and leap up to get in the back of his glove. Raider benches cheering on Kaler, trying to get something going, and now there's ball three. Kaler also has one strike after that just got down below the knees.
Kid needs to slow down, he's working too fast.
And the 3-1, tip backwards, full count on the way. Back at the home half of the first, Riverdale had a nice chance to draw first blood. It's still 0-0, but they stranded the bases with runners on first, second, and third. Kerr with the payoff, and it's just outside by a matter of inches, and there's Daniel Kaler strolling over to bag number 1.
14, Tyler Gertman.
And now here's Tyler Gertman. Over on first, Daniel Kaler takes a nice lead off. Runners on the corners here for Riverdale. And they have 2 outs. Kaler, he's usually a player that always takes off to second when he's on first, but when 2 outs, that can certainly tell a different story. Here's another one way up there.
Yeah, he had to go high. I don't know if it's his release or if he's trying to throw like a rainbow curve, but it's not breaking. It's hanging up big time.
Yeah, that's what we're noticing up here in the press box. Jake Kerr, he's really delivering quick, and maybe it's a little bit too fast. He's not breaking the curveball. It's still hanging up there above the zone.
Way above the zone.
So let's see if he can get something together there. He just had a brief talk with Prater French, his catcher. High flyer out the center, and it is gloved up by Kyle Valentine. 2 runners stranded on that time around for Riverdale. Still scoreless through 2 complete innings in Fort Myers. At this point of the game, it's your top half of inning number 3. Still 0-0 between the Heritage Mountaineers and the Riverdale Raiders. Chandler Clark, the 8th man in the Heritage batting order, starts things off. Takes a ball 1 just outside and down low. Carson Palmquist, a Riverdale starter on the mound, enters inning number 3 of his work, and he'll fire in a fastball, which is counted for ball 2. Clark, the lefty, fires away at this pitch, and he had a late reaction. It's deflected off the tip of the bat. It'll go to the safety netting back behind home plate. 2 balls and 1 strike to Chandler Clark. And there's a strike 2 fastball getting right down the middle there. 2-2. We'll tell you about Maryville, Tennessee in just a few moments, which is where Heritage High School has made the long travel from. Big swing and a larger miss that time around as Chandler Clark is eliminated. 1 down at the top of the 3rd.
Next batter for Heritage, second baseman number 1, J.P. Pearson.
5th strikeout of the ball game thus far for Carson Palmquist. J.P. Pearson at the bottom of the order. He comes up, first at bat of the game, swing and a miss. Well, Maryville, Tennessee. It's a city located in Blount County. It is located just 22 miles south of Knoxville. Here's a curveball, just misses the inside corner. 1-1 to Pearson. Maryville holds a population of roughly 28,000 people. Here's yet another delivery that just dodges the zone. 2-1 coming up here in just moments. Ooh, it just barely misses Pearson there. Almost hit him on the right arm. Three and 1 is the scenario. Here's the pitch, swing, and a miss. Count now full. Well, right now, Carson Palmquist, he's really been confident up there, really switching up his deliveries. We've seen him throw the off-speed, thrown in his fair share of curveballs thus far, and he's doing a great job of keeping these batters guessing. This is a laser down the right field line. It gets out of the complex. Count remains full for J.P. Pearson, and that bat number 1 of the ball game for him. The payoff, skyscraper, right side of the infield. Nelson Smith tracking it down. It wasn't easy, but he gets underneath it. There's out number 2 here at the top of the 3rd. Still no score between Riverdale and Heritage. Top of the order, it's Kyle Valentine heading up.
Kyle Valentine.
Well, Heritage, they took a lengthy road trip of over 12 hours to arrive to Southwest Florida. Their team bus rolled into Fort Myers on Wednesday, where later that evening they played their first of 4 games down here in Florida. Palmquist starts off Kyle Valentine in the second at-bat of the ball game with a ball way down there. Well, they visited Bishop Verot in that first meeting of the road trip, where they were dominated by a 2-10 final score. Here's another chopper back here towards the booth, and another foul ball. 1 ball, 1 strike to Valentine. Last night, Heritage headed a few miles south to visit the Estero Wildcats, where they were swept in the doubleheader. Here's another skyscraper down left field that gets out of Pringle Field. Well, Estero swept them in a doubleheader, 6-7 in Game 1, and then 4-12 in the second matchup of the evening. This is their final visit and last game of the night here in Southwest Florida before they head back up to Tennessee. And they're 0-3 down here in Southwest Florida on the season and this road trip, so they want to get just at least 1 win before they leave the state of Florida.
3 2.5.
Here's a forward scan to scorebook. Kyle Valentine gets caught there chasing an off-speed. Another 3 up, 3 down, which brings us to your bottom of the third. It's still scoreless between RHS and HHS. Bober takes a ball 1, bottom of the third, or a strike 1, rather. Excuse me, a little bit of a rough start as this deflects off of the pitcher's leg. Jake Kerr, he still makes a throw over the first regardless. That puts down Bober off of the 0-1 pitch. And there's quickly 1 out. My gosh.
He's just like, okay, I'm good, let's go. Can we play?
Very interesting reaction there. Right before he retired Matisse Bober with the 1-3 punch out. You had Jake Kerr take one right off the right leg there. You could tell that didn't feel good one bit. And it's Matt Hardy getting called up to the dish. Took it right off the leg, still scooped it up, didn't show much of reaction rather. Here's a foul ball deflected off of the strike plate. 0-1 start here for Hardy. 1 down already at the bottom of the third. 0-0 score between Riverdale and Heritage High School. Hardy watches one go down low. Ball 1. It's the 3, 4, and 5 spots due up here at the bottom of the third for Riverdale as they still hope to draw first blood. Here's another one just too far down. Riverdale, they've been able to get men on thus far here in this game. No problem with that, but getting men home is another story. This is stroked down left field, dead ball. 2-2 scenario to Matt Hardy at the plate. They've stranded 5 men total in 2 innings. They've stranded the bases loaded at the home half of the first and 2 men on the corners. At the home half of the second, Kerr with a curveball high up. Full count here to Matt Hardy. 1 down, no men on, no score. Home half of the third, the payoff is roped out to left field, and that's another one that does not remain in fair play. Fans cheering on Matt Hardy. He knows how to get behind the ball. Right now he's just trying to find a good pitch to his liking that he can line in fair play. Here comes another one yet on the way. Down the left field line it goes past the diving glove of Cade Braden. He's trying to extend it into a double, but no can do. Takes a sharp turn over the first and heads back to the bag. And Carson Palmquist has some unfinished business to take care of here.
Carson Palmquist.
Palmquist thus far, he is 0 for 1. However, he was able to get on base at the home half of the first. Here's a nice curveball, strike 1 for Palmquist. It was an error over on the second baseman, J.P. Pearson, after he mishandled a ground ball, which was chipped off the bat of Palmquist at the home half of the first. Palmquist with another one on the way. It's a pass ball, and as a result, here comes the runner over the second. It's Matt Hardy. 2 balls and 1 strike is the count here to Palmquist. Tyler Prell will follow him up here in just moments. Well, Matt Hardy, he saw the opportunity there, and he took it. As soon as that ball got in between the legs of Prater French into the backstop, Hardy took off and made it over the second without a throw. Yet another one coming to Palmquist. Another bouncer, and he is called out this time. It's an unassisted out as Anthony Hitch scoops it up near first base, stomps on the bag, and now there goes down 2 men at the bottom of the third. So first it was Matisse Bober starting off with a 1-3 put out here at the bottom of the third. And here's Carson Palmquist grounding out the bag number 1. So Tyler Prell trying to keep things going after Matt Hardy was able to extend over to third base on that ground out by Palmquist. Tyler Prell flew out to left field back in the first inning. That was his inaugural at-bat of this contest. 0-0 between Riverdale and Heritage. Here's another pass ball. Throw home is not in time. Matt Hardy is safe, and the Raiders have drawn first blood. At the home half of the third, it's a 1-0 score. Raiders over Heritage High School. So finally, the Raiders get on the board after they were frustrated in those first 2 innings, getting men on, but failing to bring any men home. And that time, all it took was a pass ball, and that can really make a difference. So that's a ball 1 to start off Palmquist, and now ball 2 follows up. To Prell at the plate. So once again, it's Tyler Prell at the plate. 2-1 is the updated count after he bounces this down first. Well hit out to right field, and it will not get down. F9 will put down Prell, fly out there for Max Bowers. Well, Raiders, they go down, but not before they bring a man home off of a pass ball. Matt Hardy comes home to score, and heading to the top half of the fourth, it's a 1-0 score. Raiders cut on to the lead first. Shortstop number 3, Casey Hare, begins your top half of the fourth at the plate as the Riverdale Raiders lead over the Heritage Mountaineers in high school baseball action by a 1-0 score. And Hare gets hit right off the tip of his batting helmet there off the opening delivery from Palmquist. So he will move over to first base. And here's Max Bowers stepping up to the plate. That was the first time of the ball game that Palmquist has hit a batter. Certainly not the way you want to start off a half inning. Once again, Raiders up by 1. Heritage hoping to get on the board for the first time of the night. Strike 1. A fastball just getting in from the edges to Max Bowers. Thank you all for tuning in to the Riverdale Raiders for tonight's action. Nick Rush giving you the call from Pringle Field at Riverdale High School. Palmquist looks over at the first base runner, Casey Hare, throws over the first. Very close delivery as Nelson Smith applied the tag on first, but no can do. First base umpire calls him safe. Max Bowers, the righty in the box, stands. Bat still over his shoulder. Palmquist with another check over the first. Looks like he's just trying to keep Casey Hare over there close to the bag as he takes a rather modest leadoff. 1-0 Riverdale, top of the fourth, 1 on, none out for Heritage. Palmquist winds and fires. And that is roped out to right field towards the Riverdale fan section seats. Count now, no balls and 2 strikes to Max Bowers at the plate. Bowers, in his last at-bat in the first inning, he got on board with a base on balls. And there's one on the inside corner strike. Had a little bit of a miscommunication there with the score count, and right now Coach Pringle is coming out, the Riverdale manager, to discuss something. Okay, so it wasn't me, believe it or not. It looks like it's a miscommunication with the count.
It's a K.
So it is a K. A swinging strikeout there on Max Bowers.
Catcher number 12, Prater French.
And it's Prater French following up at the plate. Yeah, Max Bowers took strike 3 there, and he remained in the left hand of the batter's box for a few moments. Ball 1 starts off French. Here's a throw over the first by the Riverdale catcher Tyler Prell. Nelson Smith can't get the tag down in time as Hare is safe over on first with a dive back in time. So that now makes 1 man on and 1 out. Top of inning number 4. Here's a strike to French. Starts him off 0-1. Or
strike.
Or make that 1-1, excuse me. Another throw over the first.
Did you see Carson? He just kind of goes. He didn't even.
Yeah. Carson's throw over the first, that's something we've noticed here in the press box, and it's just a really sudden throw.
You're not expecting it.
It's not over the head. It's quick and sudden. You're not expecting it, and I think that's a strategy behind it.
2-1.
2-1, as this is to the opposite end of French. Raiders up 1-0 at this point of the ball game. Top of the fourth once again. Here's yet another one outside of the zone. Prell had to slide over to his right side that time in the catcher's position to keep that from being a pass ball. 3 balls, 1 strike to Prater French at the plate. Carson Palmquist kicks his leg up high, swing and a miss, makes the count full. Well, a little bit of a fun fact here about this team. Heritage High School from Maryville, Tennessee. Riverdale manager Bob Pringle went to high school there as a student. Very interesting connection. There's a strikeout. Looking, throw to second. Not in time. And that was a very close one. Brendan McNabb, he was in time to second, but he mishandled the throw from the catcher Tyler Prell. So Casey Hare gets to second base, but there's a K at the plate for Prater French. 2 outs now at the top of the fourth.
First baseman number 18, Anthony Hitch.
And that's Anthony Hitch. 0 for 1 on the day. Struck out swinging back in the second inning of play. 8 strikeouts thus far in this ball game for Carson Palmquist, and we're only at the top of inning number 4 once again. Great performance by him. This just gets off the tip of the catcher's mitt of Prell to the backstop. A pass ball which puts a runner over on third base. That's Casey Hare getting on safe without a throw, and here's a little bit of a brief catcher-pitcher meeting between Prell and Palmquist.
For a while. Next Tuesday, March 21st.
So right now Anthony Hitch in a rather high-pressure situation here, starting off 1-0 at the plate.
Tuesday.
But Casey Hare represents the tying run for Heritage as they are down by a single run.
South, we return home on Friday, March 31st against Maryville.
Well, Coach Pringle, more on him here in Heritage High School. He played on the school's baseball team when he was a student there. Hey, who knew? You could imagine that. This is up to the pitcher's mound. Palmquist throw the first, and the runner, or the first baseman, Nelson Smith, rather, he was pulled off the plate. Runner Casey Hare comes home to score, and it is now 1-1. We are tied up at the top of the 4th, and out comes the manager, Bob Pringle, for Riverdale, having a conversation on the mound here with Palmquist and Prell. Nice infield base hit there by Anthony Hitch, and RBI to tie things up at 1 apiece. Well, Pringle, after graduating, he moved on to play college baseball as a pitcher just down the road from Heritage High School at Maryville College, which holds a Division III baseball program. Heritage High School and Maryville College just sit 11 miles apart from each other. And then not so later after he graduated from Maryville College, he made his way down here to Fort Myers. Jacob Goebel will now get called up. Tied up game, whole new ball game with a runner over on first. Yet again, that's Anthony Hitch, strike 1 to Goebel. Didn't have a swinging response there. Coach Bob Pringle, he has had quite the history with Riverdale High School. This is his 24th season with the Riverdale baseball team. 24 seasons as a coach, but this is his 22nd as the manager. Out to right field, and there's a nice catch. It's out number 3, provided by Matt Hardy. That puts down Jacob Goebel, but a tying runner comes across for Heritage. That's Casey Hare coming through as we are now coming to the bottom of the 4th. Once again, your score is tied up at 1 apiece. Heritage and Riverdale are locked up 1-1 as we are at the home half of the 4th. Here comes Nelson Smith, the leadoff man for Riverdale. Ball 1 taken at the knees. 7, 8, 9 men due up here in the Riverdale order. Strike 1 comes through as Smith gets caught looking there. Smith, McNabb, and Connor are your 3 men coming up as this is way to the backstop. It looks like it took an odd deflection there off of home plate. Somehow went over the head of Prater French into the backstop. And the follow-up pitch nailed down left field, but it will not be fair. Quick 2-2 scenario here for Nelson Smith. Here at Pringle Field at Riverdale High School, very nice fan base, as this is a high liner out to left field. Played off to one hop by the Heritage left fielder Chandler Clark. And Smith gets his first base knock of the ball game.
Now batting, second baseman, number 3, Brandon McNabb.
So McNabb hopes to extend him around. He lays down the bunt. Left side of the infield, throw is a 5-3 put out in time, which puts down McNabb. That's the second time of the ball game where he's bunted and grounded out. He's 0 for 2. And as a result, here comes Michael Connor to the dish.
Your next Raider batter, third baseman, number 4, Michael Connor.
And you could see why McNabb would make a bunt there and sacrifice himself. Nelson Smith was able to get over from first to second. 1 out and 1 in scoring territory. Here's a ball 1 in the dirt to Connor. Last time the Raiders were here at home, they played against Naples High School, a district rival. That was a 1-0 Riverdale win. Michael Connor was at the plate home half of the second. Bases were loaded and he took one off the helmet. Very thankfully he was okay, but he was responsible for the winning run. Count tied up at 1-1, just like your score here at the home half of the fourth.
How often you get hit in the head with a ball and get an RBI?
Yep, he got credited with the RBI there, and I talked with Connor about that after the game. Because, hey, he brought in that winning runner. 2-1 with a pitch low and away. And you know what he told me? He said he wished it would have been a different way. Of course, it's not the most heroic way of getting an RBI in the game winner, getting hit by a pitch. But either way, he's glad that he could be involved in that aspect of the ballgame, bringing home that go-ahead runner at the home half of the second, which would eventually be the game winner. And the lone runner, or lone run, you could put it, in that game. 3-1 pitch on the way, bolted through the left side of the infield. Runner coming around third. Nelson Smith stays over there, and that makes runners around the corner as Michael Connor gets his second base hit of the contest. Had one earlier at the home half of the second.
Your next Raider batter, shortstop, he's number 1, Daniel Kaler.
Daniel Kaler moves up, trying to put the Raiders back up ahead as we are tied up 1-1, bottom of the fourth. 1 out, and runners on first and third here for the Raiders. Signals for a bunt, holds back at the last second. He'll take a strike 1. Jake Kerr, the pitcher on the mound for Heritage, in a little bit of a situation here, trying to find a way out of it as he gets the leg whip and fire. Curveball that's too high up. 1 ball, 1 strike. You can hear the Riverdale benches from the broadcast position making some noise, cheering on Kaler. High fly ball out to right field, and it is caught in foul territory, courtesy of Anthony Hitch, the first baseman, getting right in front of the Riverdale dugout and putting in the back of his glove. F3 in the scorebooks for Kaler, and Tyler Gertman
Now batting for the Raiders
is your next man up on the roster.
14, Tyler Gertman.
So Tyler Gertman in a little bit of a do-or-die situation. 2 outs and runner over on third. Throw to second. Attempted steal is successful, and here comes the runner home from third. What a trick play, ladies and gentlemen. I've never seen that before. Nelson Smith jogged home from third base to home after an attempted steal was successful by Michael Connor. And it's 2-1 Riverdale here at the bottom of the fourth as a result of that very sneaky play drawn up by the Raider manager, Bob Pringle. And out comes Robbie Bennett, the Heritage manager, talking over that play with one of the umpires. He's chatting with the second base umpire and just gets a quick word out of that, nothing more. A little bit of relief there for Tyler Gertman. So after that little trick play on the bases, the goal is already achieved. Riverdale gets their second lead of the ball game. Kerr bolts it down the first base side, and out of play it goes. And that's quite the risk. You have 2 outs, and Connor racing over the second base. So if he was called out over at second, that would have really ruined the purpose of the whole play, of course, but nonetheless, that's not something you see too often by Pringle. Throw to third, goes crazy, and here comes Michael Connor to score, and the Raiders now take a 2-run advantage at the home half of the fourth. It's 3-1. So Michael Connor stays sneaky. He got on board with a base hit earlier on at the home half of the fourth, steals second, steals third, and then there was a wild pitch which got away from Cade Braden and spiraled its way out the left field, giving Connor enough time to dive home without a throw. Gertman with the 2-2 pitch on the way. Ooh, storm down left field, and it's called foul. So count remains 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2 outs, and the bases are now empty for Tyler Gertman. He's been at the plate for quite some time. He's seen 2 runs come by in this at-bat. Full count with 1 at the feet. And the payoff pitch way outside. And here comes Tyler Gertman taking the walk to first to keep this home half of the fourth alive. Riverdale leads 3-1.
Next batter for your Raiders, left fielder, number 8, Matisse Bober.
Matisse Bober is the 6th man to bat here at the bottom of the fourth. Opening deal for him. Skips to the backstop, and right now things are falling apart for Heritage High School. The 1-0 to Bober gets outside. Count now 2-0, and right now looking rattled up on the mound for Heritage is Jake Kerr. He was the starter for Heritage in this game. Here at the home half of the fourth, he's starting to get a bit winded. Oh, that's way out to right field. It's crushed towards the warning track. Is it gone? Yes, it is. Matisse Bober clubs the home run out to right field. That is the first one we have seen all season long here at Pringle Field. 2-run homer. Makes it 5-1 Raiders. Fans rise to their feet after that was clocked out to right field, and it just barely trickles over the right field wall. Running out of real estate there was Max Bowers trying to get at it.
Number 9, Matt Hardy.
So Tyler Gertman comes home to score from second, and Matisse Bober gets a nice home run there. Oh, pop up here by Matt Hardy on the first pitch towards the dugout, and it is caught by the Heritage catcher, Prater French. It is 5-1. Raiders put up 4 runs at the home half of the fourth. Once again, Raiders up 5-1. 2-run homer from Matisse Bober opens up the floodgates of this ball game. Cade Braden heads to the plate as we head to the top of inning number 5, where the Raiders have busted things open over the Heritage Mountaineers. Your score is now 5-1 as a swing and a miss comes here to Braden. 0-1 quickly comes through from the pitcher Carson Palmquist. Count tied up 1-1 with one coming low at the feet. Ladies and gentlemen, the adrenaline is high here at Pringle Field. Ball 2 with another one bouncing in the dirt. Just moments ago, home half of the fourth, we witnessed a 2-run home run out to right field by Matisse Bober. It sent home Tyler Gertman, who was over on second. And Matisse Bober crushes the first home run of the season for the Raiders. Here's a pitch chipped down the right field line and out of play. Cade Braden looking a bit anxious at the plate, and so is this Heritage Ball Club right now. After once again the Raiders, they found a rhythm and they figured out how to keep it going at the bottom of inning number 4. Palmquist takes a moment and whips the deal home. Swing and a miss. And there's another forwards K in the scorebook. This time, Cade Braden is the next victim.
Next batter for Heritage, left fielder number 7, Chandler Clark.
Chandler Clark up next, hoping to redeem himself after striking out swinging back in the 3rd inning of play. And that's the thing about high school baseball. You don't see too many home runs. They're not something you see every ball game. But when one occurs, it really is special. Ball 1 heading to the backstop.
That ball was crushed.
Yeah, it was hung right over the plate by the Heritage pitcher Jake Kerr. And you know what? It was leveled by Bober out to right field.
See ya. That was a towering shot, too.
Count advances at 2-0 here to Clark with 2 pitches low and away. Palmquist puts one on the outside corner. And now Clark has a nice possibility of a 4-pitch walk on the way.
Nah, he'll take your. He should anyway. Coach may turn him loose. I'd turn him loose.
So here's Clark, right hand to the batter's box, steps in after a timeout called, and there's a nice fastball right down the center of the zone. Thank you all for tuning in to the Riverdale Raiders Broadcast Network. Nick Rush giving you the play-by-play here from Pringle Field at RHS. Here's a pop-up to the backstop, and Tyler Prell makes the catch right in front of us here at the press box. And there's out number 2 here at the top of the 5th. And it's J.P. Pearson getting summoned to the plate.
Baseman, number 1, J.P. Pearson.
And that's something that Riverdale manager Bob Pringle said about his team. He once said during the preseason, we have some great hitters out there, but he wasn't sure if there was anyone on the team who could crush it. Nice infield hit. The J.P. Pearson. Brendan McNabb scooped it up over at second, made the throw to first where Nelson Smith was guarding the bag, but the throw was nowhere close. So Pearson gets on first, and Kyle Valentine keeps things going. But you know what? There was that first home run, and Coach Pringle, I could bet you anything, he was happy to be proved wrong there. But you know what? Like we mentioned earlier, high school baseball, home runs don't happen all the time. Ball 1 to Valentine. 5-1, Raiders lead, top of the 5th. Runner over on first for Heritage. Palmquist whips and fires. Gets inside, throw the first. Will not be in time. 1 ball, 1 strike is the count to Valentine. Some warm-up action is going on down the right field line in the Raiders bullpen.
Colby Davis.
And that is Colby Davis, who very well be making a visit to the mound here in the future of this game. Here's a ball that is way over Prell's head, the catcher. He has to chase it down to the backstop.
That was the super duper curve.
It's 2-1 your count of Valentine. Runner extends over to second. Once again, that's J.P. Pearson. Very nice crowd here in tonight's action. Down the first base side, plenty of Raider baseball fans. So far, very satisfied with what they've seen thus far here from their home school. Here's another one up and outside. 3-1 is your count. Plenty of Heritage fans have made the travel as well. But like we mentioned earlier, it's low 30s up there in Maryville, Tennessee. So, hey, who wouldn't want to make a little vacation to Southwest Florida? Here's a curveball, a wild pitch, once again behind home plate. So the runner, Kyle Valentine, walks to first.
Batting next for Heritage shortstop number.
And now J.P. Pearson stands over at third. So Casey Hare is next. And it appeared that maybe Valentine just got a little bit of a foul tip there, perhaps. And that's why you saw J.P. Pearson make his way over to third. Oh, correction. So I got that through there. It was a swing and a miss, but it was a wild pitch. So that's what it was. Swing and a miss here for Casey Hare. Starts him off 0-1. So yeah, Valentine took a swing and a miss, but lucky for him, that was another curveball way over everyone's head, allowing him to get over the first. And J.P. Pearson saw the opportunity to get over the third there, which he fully takes advantage of.
Don't give up any runs. Let's get the out. Let's go.
Foul tip down the left field line. 2 outs, 2 on for Heritage. Raiders up by 4. Heritage with men on the corners. Here's the delivery from Palmquist. Once again, another curveball that's just too high. And that seems to be his problem right now. He's throwing that curveball, but he's having a hard time snapping it.
Snapping in the zone, right?
And that's the reason why it's too high most of the time. You really have to give a flick of the wrist up there if you want to execute that curveball.
No.
Here's a pitch bouncing off the dirt. At first, Pro lost contact with it. He had to regain it. Tried to make a throw over the second, but it was too late. He bluffed the throw. Valentine now over on second base. That makes 2 men in scoring position for Heritage.
Come on, let's get the out. Let's go.
1 ball, 2 strike count. Here's the next one to Casey Hare. Down in the dirt. Count is full as it is updated by the home plate umpire and up here in the press box. Once again, we're working hard here without a scoreboard at Pringle Field. However, a new scoreboard is going to be ordered next week. Fouled away just in front of the Heritage bench down the left field line. Still a full count here for Casey Hare. But yes, up here in the press box, ever since the beginning of the season, we have been keeping the counts, as we do not have a scoreboard, or a functioning one at least. Our previous one was struck by lightning last season, but we are ordering one on Monday, the Raider baseball team. Here's a walk on the way. Payoff was just a matter of inches outside, and the Raider fielding unit was actually making their way to the dugouts. They thought there was a strikeout there by Palmquist, but now for the first time of this night's action, Heritage has runners on first, second, and third. Bases loaded.
Right fielder number 11, Max Bowers.
So here's Max Bowers on the way up. That new scoreboard that will be ordered by Raider Baseball, it is $12,000. It will be split, the paying of it. Swing and a miss here for strike 1 on Bowers. $6,000 will be paid by Riverdale, and Parks and Recreation of Lee County will be chipped in, or they will chip in rather, to pay for the other half. Another one just wide.
Come on, Carson. Man, We get 2 quick outs and then we're falling apart. Come on. Let's get out of this inning.
Carson Palmquist, he has been the pitcher for the Raiders for quite some time. It's the top of the 5th. He was the starter in this game for the Raiders. Trying to get out of a jam here with the bases loaded. Here's yet another one down in the dirt.
I mean, he's got 9 strikeouts through 5 innings. 2-1.
Count is 2-1 right now to Max Bowers at the plate. Palmquist trying to get himself out of this. Raiders up by 4. You can make that 3 as this is out to left field. Base knock there and an RBI for Max Bowers. As coming home as J.P. Pearson from third, and it's now a 5-2 Raider lead as Heritage is starting to cut into the Raider advantage.
A reminder, fans, Raider baseball next week is on the road next Tuesday.
So Prater French
Thursday will be at the
is now
hotel.
called up,
Next Thursday, March 23rd.
and he has a nice situation coming up. Bases still juiced for Heritage. And there are 2 outs here at the top half of the 5th as well for the Raider defense. So that 1 out to retire the sides and just keep this 3-run advantage as it is. It feels so close, but yet so far. And Prater French starts off 1-0. And right now, Carson Palmquist on the mound. He's starting to lose contact with the strike zone. There's yet another one. Low and off the corner.
He's struggling. We got to get this out.
2 balls and no strikes to Prater French. French braces himself. Here's one just barely getting in. And maybe that could wake up Palmquist a bit here. He's a bit worn out as he has had quite the feature on this game. Once again, he's the starting pitcher of the ball game for Riverdale. Here at the top half of the 5th, starting to just lose a bit of his composure as this is rocked out to right field. That really got high up there and out quick. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Come on, kid.
So right now, Palmquist is just 1 strike away. He just has to be careful on what he makes that delivery.
Come on, bring this kid up right here. Come on, bring him up.
What is he going to make it? It's a fastball down left field, and it's not fair.
They're starting to make good contact with him now. Man, they've got him down.
And Palmquist, like we mentioned earlier, he's a guy that knows how to switch things up, throws in fastballs, goes with the curveball. A lot of off-speed pitches especially. But right now it seems as if Heritage is really starting to catch on with his rhythm. Time is called by Prater French. French adjusts his batting gloves here. Taps the bat against the dirt, gets back into the left hand of the box. 2-2 is on the way. Swing and a miss. And that ends what has been a rather lengthy top half of the 5th. French goes down swinging, and Heritage puts a run on the board heading to the bottom of the 5th. It is now 5-2, Raiders on top. As we head to the bottom half of the 5th inning here at Pringle Field at Riverdale High School, it's a 5-2 Riverdale lead over Heritage. Carson Palmquist is your leadoff man, and off the opening deal, he flies out to center field, and it's quickly 1 down. Kyle Valentine, right under that ball, had to quickly close in on it. As the ball didn't really hang in there for too long, up in the air. Palmquist now moves to 0-3 on the night as Tyler Prell is up next. He'll take a strike 1 as he watches it go right by him. Prell 0-2 on the night, hoping to get some damage going. 0-1 quickly transforms into 0-2 with a fisted foul down left. Carson Palmquist on the mound. He has really had an effective night through 5 complete innings. He has pitched 10 strikeouts. Prell had a nice bouncer there on the left side of the infield, but he's eliminated with a 5-3 put out in the scorebooks as he is eliminated with a throw from the third baseman, Cade Braden.
First baseman number 39, Nelson Smith.
Nelson Smith follows up. And at the top of the 5th inning, Heritage scored 1 run, and here is a high fly ball out to center, and Kyle Valentine gets right to it. Well, that was a quick bottom half of the 5th, wasn't it? Palmquist, Prell, and Smith go down quick. To the 6th inning we go in just moments. Raiders still lead over Heritage by a 5-2 score. Anthony Hitch is your first man up here at the top half of inning number 6. Raiders lead over the Heritage Mountaineers by a 5-2 score. And Hitch gets hit by a pitch over the first base. He goes. A little bit of poetry going on here in the broadcast booth. New pitcher on the mound for the Raiders is number 17, Colby Davis, the left-handed hurler. And he will be facing Jacob Goebel next. At the dish, this goes right up to him. Davis throws a second for 1, first for 2. Nice double play from the pitcher to the second baseman, and then over the first. There's 2 outs off of 1 situation. Jacob Goebel grounded it straight up to Colby Davis, who made some destruction there up on the mound.
Next batter for the Mountaineers, third baseman number 16, Cade Braden.
So Cade Braden moves up after 2 very quick outs. Davis up on the mound, replacing Carson Palmquist, the starter of this game for the Raiders, up on the bump. Ball 1. Here's a quick 1-0 to follow up. Check swing. Home plate umpire says he went around. There's a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, Palmquist in 5 complete innings. He tossed 10 strikeouts. Not a bad night for him. So a fouled away pitch makes it 1-2. Next one, just a bit outside. Count now 2 balls and 2 strikes to Cade Braden. Here's another one just wide. Count now full as Colby Davis is trying to make it a very quick top half of the 6th. Raiders still up by 3. Davis delivering quick in between pitches, and there's a walk on the way. Cade Braden survives the full count.
Next batter for Heritage, left fielder number 7, Chandler Clark.
So Chandler Clark keeps things moving right along here for Heritage at the top of the 6th. And as a result of Palmquist leaving the mound, he now moves over the first. And the former first baseman for Riverdale here in this contest, Nelson Smith, when it comes to defensive fielding over at first, his night is done, as he is now on the Riverdale bench down the first base side dugout. Here's a check over the first base as Davis is trying to keep Cade Braden over close on first. Chandler Clark at the plate, still waiting for his first delivery. At bat number 3 of the game for him. Strike 1. Just barely snuck in there from down low. 0 for 2 is Clark on the night. Struck out swinging in the 3rd. Popped up to the catcher, Tyler Prell for Riverdale, back in the 5th. And here he is up at the top of the 6th, hoping to do some damage after going 0 for 2 in his first pair of at-bats here in this game. Another one on the way from Colby Davis in his first inning of work as a Raider relief pitcher This curveball just on the outside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike to Chandler Clark. You can now make it 2-1 as this is off to the sides. Nick Rush giving you the call here on the Riverdale Raiders broadcast network. Thanks for tuning in. Top of the 6th. Raiders up 5-2 on a very nice, breezy Thursday evening. This is high up. And that's a base on balls. Looks like that was a ball behind there on the count up here in the press box. My apologies for that one. Still trying to work past not having that scoreboard out in left field. But either way, Chandler Clark walks over the first and J.P. Pearson moves up. So there's Colby Davis giving up back-to-back base on balls, and he'll start off J.P. Pearson with 1 up and away.
It's 4 balls in a row. Come on now.
4 balls in a row here by Davis. Is this the 5th? Nope, it's popped up. Prell trying to track it down in the sky. Tosses off his helmet. Makes the catch. There's your 3rd out. Sides retired here at the top half of the 6th. No runs scored by Heritage. Keeping it a 5-2 Raider lead. Home half of the inning coming up from Riverdale High School in Fort Myers, Florida. It's the bottom of the 6th here at Pringle Field. Raiders up 5-2, and it's Brendan McNabb leading things off. Here's a fly ball out to right field. First pitch is the first out. F9 down in the scorebooks for Brendan McNabb. Michael Connor is the next up batter on the order. He comes in once again at number 9. Quick ball 1 given to him up and
Number 4,
just outside.
Now batting for the Raiders.
Check swing and a miss here. 1 ball, 1 strike to Michael Connor. What a night he's had thus far. 2 for 2 with back-to-back base hits. This is a grounder left side in the infield. Throw to first. Is it in time? Yes, it is. There's a 5-3 as Cade Braden made a nice throw across the diamond over from third. 2 men out here for the Raiders at the bottom of the 6th.
Number 1, Daniel Kaler.
And it's Daniel Kaler hoping to avoid the 3 up, 3 down inning. Before he steps up, he'll take a walk down the first base side, and he will have a brief discussion with the Riverdale manager and first base coach, Bob Pringle. No men on base, 2 outs here for the Raiders, as RHS leads by 3, and it makes you wonder what Pringle could be talking about here with Kaler. Now the home plate umpire is going to get involved here. However, not for too long. Kaler's already at the dish. Here's another one on the way from Jake Kerr, right in front of the Raider dugout. Down right field, bounces off of the roof as you had 3 different men going after that ball for Heritage. So it gets out of play, much to the delight of Kaler, as you can imagine. Jake Kerr still up on the mound here. He's the starter when it comes to pitchers in this ball game for Heritage. And this is just absolutely blasted out the left field, but it is halted at the warning track. Chandler Clark backtracks to put it in the back of the glove, and Riverdale maintains their 5-2 lead over the Raiders. We now head to the top of the 7th. Raiders hope to close out the victory right after this break. It's the top of the 7th here at Riverdale High School, and we head to the top of the Heritage batting order as Kyle Valentine steps up and takes ball 1. Heritage Mountaineers trail to the Riverdale Raiders by a 5-2 score. Ball 2 up and away. New pitcher up on the mound for Riverdale, hoping to get out the close here at the top half of the 7th, is number 3, Brendan McNabb, the right-handed hurler. This is tipped back towards the booth, foul. Count now 2 balls and 1 strike. Third pitcher of the ball game is Brendan McNabb for the Raiders. Colby Davis took over at the top half of the 6th inning for the starter Carson Palmquist, and he was only out there for an inning. Davis. Count now 2 balls and 2 strikes after another foul ball rattles off the safety netting behind home plate. Here's the deuce. Ooh, just a bit too low. Count now full.
Thought he had him. I thought he had him.
Valentine, Hare, and Bowers, your 3 men due up here at the top of the 7th. Raiders up by 3, hoping to finish off this ball game, but here is a walk. Kyle Valentine not making it easy that time around as he leads off by getting on first base with a walk.
For the Mountaineers, number 3, Casey Hare.
So Hare now moves up from the on-deck circle as Brendan McNabb is still trying to get into the swing of things.
Come on, buddy.
Colby Davis is a junior here on this Riverdale Ball Club. This is his first season of work on the varsity team. Previously played a pair of seasons with the Riverdale JV Ball Club, as here's a pitch that knocks in the dirt to Casey Hare. 1-0 is how he will start off.
Looks like we got Nelson Smith up in the bullpen.
Nelson Smith is currently warming up in the Raider bullpen down the first base side. Here's a check on first base where Kyle Valentine is standing, and he slides back in time. Nelson Smith, at one point, he was the first baseman on the Raider defense to start this game. However, he moved onto the bench after Carson Palmquist ended his night as the pitcher, and he moved over the first 5-3 putout. As getting tripped up there was Michael Conner over on third, but makes a nice clean throw across the diamond to put down Casey Hare. 1 down at the top of the 7th.
11, Max Bowers.
Valentine stumbles over the second there, as he was also trying to maintain his balance, making his way into scoring territory. Once again, Raiders up by 3 runs. Heritage fighting hard, however. Prell stops this one in its tracks. Another one that bounces off the ground. And Heritage, like we mentioned earlier here in the broadcast, this is their final game as a part of their spring break trip down here in Southwest Florida. It's their 4th one, and they are 0-3 down here in Southwest Florida on this spring break that they are on. They lost in a doubleheader last night. Count now 2 balls and no strikes to Max Bowers. 3rd man due up at the top of the 7th. Well, they were swept by the Wildcats last night, Heritage, in a doubleheader. And then on Wednesday night, they were blown out 10-2 by Bishop Verot. Count is now 3 balls, no strikes. Pressure on for Brendan McNabb. And there's a strike. One on, one out for the Mountaineers on the brink of defeat here in this game against the Raiders. Count now full as that just hung up there in the upper right corner.
He thought he had ball 4.
Bowers, he was about to toss the bat in front of the Heritage dugout down left field, but home plate umpire tells him to stay there. Payoff is a walk, and now he's able to toss the bat. 2 men are on for the Mountaineers. Second walk of the 7th inning for the pitcher, Brendan McNabb. French is now called up.
Now batting for Heritage, number 12, Prater French.
And during that brief break in the action, you had a meeting between Prell and McNabb on the mound. Prell most likely just saying, hey, all you need is 2 outs, team's up by 3, and stranger things have happened in the game of baseball, but I'm sure Prell was just saying something along the lines of, let's find that strike zone and get the next 2 outs.
Something to put in play so we can make it out. Either way.
Ball 1 to French. The deal. Just inside. Found the lower corner, and you hear some shouts of distress coming from the Heritage fans down left field. And also, like we said previously here on the broadcast, there's quite a few of them that came down here to Southwest Florida's hack and a miss. Count now 1-2. And that's always great to have a nice fan base to support you, even when you are far away from home. Heritage took a 12-hour bus ride to get here, and they're on the verge of going back home on a 4-game losing streak. Between a loss by Bishop Verot, a pair of defeats by Estero, and now Riverdale has them on the verge of defeat. 5-2 Raiders are up after a pitch is fouled down left field. This is chipped through the left side of the infield. Here comes a runner chugging around third. He will stay there. And Heritage has the bags juiced up. Base hit by French. Keeps the party going for Heritage.
Next batter for the Mountaineers, number 18, Anthony Hitch.
Anthony Hitch moves up to the plate. And you know what's interesting is Heritage brought along their own bat boy. Very interesting.
Somebody's brother.
Has to be someone's brother, we can only imagine up here in the booth. Ball 1, the Hitch. Coach's son, maybe? Who knows? I mean, the possibilities are endless. One-0. Down left field. That's not a fair ball. Count tied up at 1 apiece here for Hitch. Bags loaded up for Heritage. 1 out. Raiders trying to finish things off with a victory here at the top of the 7th. Brendan McNabb trying to close things down in this first inning of work. Ooh, there's a big wave by Hitch. And he couldn't find a connection with the ball. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And that was off to the opposite side of where he was in the right hand of the batter's box. Went with a nice full swing, but came up with nothing. McNabb trying to put him down. And there's a floater out the left field. That's a souvenir ball for a fan out there. But you do have to remember, it's high school baseball. No souvenirs. You give that ball right back.
Give me that team.
Very limited amount of baseball is here in high school. And they even do that in the collegiate levels as well of the game. Ooh, this is on the infield. Here's a throw to first. It is in time. There's out number 2. And coming home to score for Heritage is Kyle Valentine from third. So there's a sacrifice grounder. A 6-3 put down for Anthony Hitch. And it's now 5-3 Riverdale at the top of the 7th. Jacob Goebel now feeling a bit of pressure.
Jacob Goebel.
And you know what's intimidating here for Riverdale is that Heritage has a tying runner over on second.
There's a nice one.
Nice curveball getting inside. Strike 1.
That was very nice.
So McNabb hoping to follow up with a nice complete save. He's 1 out away from ending this game. Bouncer on the infield. Gets to second. Throw the first. It is in time. A 6-3 put out. ends this ball game. Brendan McNabb gets the close on what was a tense ending, but the Raiders of Riverdale High School beat out the Heritage Mountaineers of Maryville, Tennessee, 5-3 at the end of 7 innings of regulation. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to tell you about the next game for the Raiders. Their next matchup on the schedule is on the road, Tuesday, March 21st, at the LaBelle Cowboys. First pitch going out at 7 p.m. Their next home game here at Pringle Field is Friday, March 31st versus the Mariner Tritons. 7 p.m. is also the first pitch start time for that action. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as a result of this big win for the Riverdale Raiders, they now move up to 9-1 overall on the 2017 season. Heritage is now 3 wins and 4 losses, and on their trip down here to Southwest Florida, they played 4 games, and they were defeated in all 4. Not the way you want to really finish out spring break, but either way, it has to be a good feeling for them just because they're able to get out of that cold Tennessee weather. And there has really been some cold weather up in the north and even the upper parts of the south. But either way, they come down here, they get to play some good baseball and warm weather. But the outcome, it's not what they expected to be. Raiders win 5-3. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Nick Rush giving you the play-by-play on the Riverdale Raiders Broadcast Network, saying thank you for tuning in throughout the course of tonight's game, and we will see you on the broadcast Friday, March 31st, once again, versus Mariner at 7 p.m. Have a great rest of your Thursday night, start of the weekend coming up. Have a safe one, and have a great night from Pringle Field at Riverdale High School.